Hi, Ellie. It is Mimi, and I have a couple of books I wanted to read to you. My children were learning about pumpkins this week and David and Goliath, so I have a couple of books to share with you about those things. This one is called The Pumpkin Fair. Let's read, okay? I'm going to the pumpkin fair. Pumpkins, pumpkins everywhere. These ones here were grown from seed. Yes, sir, yes, sir. Yes, indeed. The biggest pumpkin ever seen, the smallest one there's ever been. Sit up so I can show you the pictures. There, that's better. Mine's in between, hand grown by me. I got the pumpkin seed for free. It has a lot of shiny dots. I call them pumpkin beauty spots. The boy next door thinks he's so smart. He says each one's a pumpkin wart. I cover up my pumpkin's ears. She'll feel so awful if she hears. Mr. Pumpkin shakes my hand, and there's the Peter Pumpkin Band. The pumpkin princess has a crown of little pumpkins all glued down. Pumpkin bowling, roll a few. Pumpkin dear, I won't roll you. Toss the pumpkin through the net. Oops, a pumpkin omelet. Uh-oh, that one's smushed. Tug-o-war, just hold on tight. Tug and tug with all your might. Slipping, slipping, sliding, splash. We're in a bed of pumpkin mash. Pumpkins will smash up if you drop them, won't they? Juggle pumpkins, 1, 2, 3. If you touch mine, you're history. She doesn't want to share her little pumpkin, does she? I don't blame her. That's her special pumpkin. I like spitting pumpkin seeds. They're smooth and white like little beads. Pucker up and let 'em fly. Spit 'em far and spit 'em high. That's funny, isn't it? Spitting pumpkin seeds. They spit 'em to see whose goes the furthest. And then that makes you a champion pumpkin seed spitter. Pumpkin creatures in a row, how are you? Hello, hello. Mouse and pig and kitty cat, rabbit, snake, and vampire bat. All the neato things they made out of their pumpkins here, huh? Those are cute. There's pumpkin cake and pumpkin pie. Eat until you think you'll die. Pumpkin ice cream, cookies too. There's even gooey party stew. I'll try them all except the stew. It's icky looking. Gross. P.U. It's time for prizes, time for fame. I know they'll never call my name. My pumpkin isn't very big. She's not a mouse or dog or pig. I tell her that it's still okay. She's very special in her way. And then, how can it be? The pumpkin master's calling me. She won a prize at the pumpkin fair for being a cute little pumpkin. The best loved pumpkin at the fair, the best loved pumpkin anywhere. I get a ribbon, red and blue. My pumpkin gets a ribbon too. How did they know? How did they see the way I felt inside of me? She loves her little pumpkin. It's growing dark, but through the night the jack-o'-lantern shines so bright. We all hold hands and sing a song of pumpkins round and pumpkins long, of pumpkins fat and pumpkins lean, and pumpkins somewhere in between. Good night, sleep tight, take care. See you at next year's pumpkin fair. So that is the Pumpkin Fair book. And then this one is called Pumpkin Hill. There once was a pumpkin, a lonely, only pumpkin, that grew on the brink of a great green hill. There he is, right up there on the top of the hill. The sun shone, the rain fell, the pumpkin grew and grew, larger and orangier and plump, plump, plumper, till one fine day it broke from its vine and roly-polied down the hill. The pumpkin hit a stone and kersplat! That was that. Or was it? Look at all those little animals being chased by the pumpkin. The pumpkin seeds lay on the soft, fertile earth, which soon wore a blanket of snow. In spring the farmer came with his horse-drawn plow, scattering the seeds across the great green hill. But he and his wife could not agree, barley or corn, alfalfa or hay, so the hill was left unplanted, except for the pumpkin seeds. The rains came, the sun shone, the seeds grew into sprouts, the sprouts into vines, vines with leaves, leaves with flowers, flowers into roly-poly pumpkins. But since no one came to pick them, they withered away, except for the pumpkin seeds. Oops, get that up there so you can see it. In spring the farmer plowed once more. Tomatoes, potatoes, turnips. His hill remained unplanted, except for the pumpkin seeds. Sun and rain, once around again. Sprouts, vines, roly-poly pumpkins, which withered away, except for... Once again in spring the farmer plowed but didn't sow. Little did he know he had no need. Beneath the soil a crop was widely planted, those hardy little pumpkin seeds. They grew in sun and rain, from small green lumpkins into round, fat plumpkins. Because the farmer lived on the far side of the hill, he did not see that the land had turned a bright orange with a mass of roly-poly pumpkins. There came a mighty wind, the whirly-swirly kind. It blew the vines into a tangle and sent the pumpkins rumble-tumble, hurtling down the great green hill. Here they come, all those pumpkins that had been growing that nobody knew about. The valley town was wakened by a roar as loud as thunder, as thousands of pumpkins thumped and bumped down the slope. Behold, a golden avalanche. Here they come down the hill into the town. All those pumpkins. Traffic jam, shop shut. What a delightful disaster! The pumpkins bonked pedestrians and ricocheted off walls. They rolled into the marketplace and tumbled all the vegetables into a giant tossed salad. Oh my, there's a lot going on in this picture. Pumpkins, pumpkins everywhere. What are they going to do with all those pumpkins? Pumpkins rolled into canneries and stalled conveyor belts. Cried the workers, "This is more than our cannery can can." Look at all those pumpkins. One could not help but chuckle to see uppity folk struggle with those most unruly roly-polies. Who could stay a grouchy grumpkin among those jolly, bumping pumpkins? The mayor called a meeting. What shall we do with this preposterous predominance of pumpkins? Make jack-o'-lanterns, cried the children. Remember, it's Halloween. So the mayor decreed that each citizen must take home a pumpkin to carve. But when all had claimed their share, a plethora of pumpkins still lined the sides of the road. The children cried, "Make pumpkin pies!" All Hallows Eve at moonrise, the whole valley glowed with the grins of 6,000 jack-o'-lanterns. The air wafted the scent, spicy and sweet, of 3,005 pumpkin pies. Children dressed as ghosts and goblins paraded on the green. Each held a candled pumpkin. What a blazing Halloween! Pumpkins everywhere. The farmer apologized for causing such a mess. The frazzled mayor shouted, "No more pumpkins!" The farmer and his wife talked head to head. Then he announced to the crowd, "I'd like to set aside my great green hill for all these children. They can run here, they can hide, ski, slide, or pony ride. They'll grow healthy, they'll grow tall on this land that I will call Pumpkin Hill." "A propitious solution," said the mayor, "for our pumpkin pollution." So they were so happy with the children for solving the pumpkin problem that they built them a little park on the Pumpkin Hill. Then the mayor imposed a harsh punishment on anyone who scattered pumpkin seeds. The guilty one must gobble 15 pumpkin pies within a quarter of an hour. That is the reason why, on Halloween, after carving grim faces with fire-lit eyes, children salt, roast, and eat, for supper or snack, those perniciously prolific pumpkin seeds. Have you tried pumpkin seeds, Ellie? I bet your mommy would roast some for you to try. And that is the end of Pumpkin Hill. Okay, the last book I have for you is called David and God's Giant Victory, and it's a Bible story about David and Goliath. A long time ago, the Israelite army and the Philistine army were ready to fight. There was a very big man in the Philistine army. His name was Goliath. Goliath was 9 feet tall. He was very, very strong. The Israelite army was filled with fear. This mean guy over here is Goliath. David's brothers were in the Israelite army. Their father, Jesse, told David to bring them food. David went to check on his brothers too. Here is little David, bringing them some bread. David brought food to his brothers, and he heard Goliath dare the Israelites to send a man to fight with him. Goliath shouted, Choose one of your men to face me. No one stepped forward. The Israelite army was scared. But David was not scared. He trusted God to keep him safe. Who does Goliath think he is? Asked David. Saul, the Israelite king, heard about David. He was surprised by what he heard. There's David, strong and believing in God. Let me go fight Goliath, David said to King Saul. The king said, David, you are too small. You cannot fight that giant. But David knew God would keep him safe. He had fought a lion and a bear to protect his father's sheep. David trusted God to help him. Go and fight the giant. God be with you, King Saul said to David. Then he gave David his armor, helmet, and a sword. But everything was too big for David to use. Look at that. It doesn't fit him. It's supposed to fit that big guy there. Not David. David took off the armor. He left Saul's sword on the ground. He knew he could win the fight with Goliath because David had a plan. David trusted God to keep him safe, and he prayed to God for strength. Then David took his slingshot, and he went to a stream. This is his slingshot down here on the ground. David looked all around the stream. He chose 5 smooth stones for his slingshot. He put them in his shepherd's bag. David was ready. David approached the giant man named Goliath. He was not scared at all. Even when Goliath looked at him with anger, David was not afraid. Goliath saw that David was young and small. He was surprised that this boy would try to fight him. But he was brave. David was brave, and he believed that God would help him. David said, Today the world will know there is a great God in Israel. He got his slingshot and stone ready. David whirled it. David twirled it. Goliath watched and was not happy. Whoosh! David slung the stone at Goliath. The stone hit Goliath on the head and he fell down. David did not need a sword, a spear, or armor. Not army. We didn't need an army either. David only needed God's help. David won the battle against Goliath. David was right. The battle belonged to the Lord. He struck Goliath down with just a slingshot, a stone, and God's great love. So he thanked God for helping him. And that's the end of that story. I hope you had a fun time at Halloween last night trick-or-treating. I hope you'll call Mimi sometime soon and tell me all about it. Remember, Mimi and Papa love you very, very much. And we will talk to you soon. Bye, Ellie. Mwah.